so first is the cylinder head. We're going to be using this GSR head right here. And ferrea valves, F1448P and F1449P. They're the ferrea competition plus valves on the intake and the exhaust. We're going to be using the valve grinding compound right here. It's part number 80036 to grind the valve seats, make sure they're nice and smooth and they seal. And then we'll get the springs and retainers in it and the valve seals. Alright, so just got done lapping these valves, all the intake valves, all the exhaust valves. Next is valve seals on this side, intake and exhaust, and then we'll put this valve springs in. We've got the supertech dual valve springs and retainers all in, but I'm actually going to clean up the shop right now because it is a mess. I can't find any of my tools and it just needs to be cleaned up in general, especially so I don't knock things into this car like this chair is dangerously close right here. So I'm going to clean up the shop a bit and then we'll continue with the engine. I got it to 97.5. The center line for the intake cam is 98 degrees. This is as close as I could get it. I tried all these times. I got up to 96.5, 99, 97.25, and 97.5 is what I got it to. It's about as close as I can get it. Next is the exhaust side. The exhaust center line is 105 degrees. So I'm going to do that one next and see if I can get it there. And then the cams will be agreed. You get the clutch and the trans on the engine and get it in the car. I'm using the FCS kit to do the cam degreeing and the Moroso Pro wheel. I like this wheel because it's really big. It's got really big numbers, really easy to read. And I also purchased a piston stop from Summit Racing, which is right here. This threads into the spark plug hole, and it'll give you a positive stop so you can find true TDC. I feel like it's a lot easier to find TDC with this rather than the gauge they send with the long extension on it. I feel like it's a lot easier to find it just with the piston stop. You know, you turn it one way, it'll stop. You read how many degrees are on the wheel, and then you spin it over the opposite way, read how many degrees are on the wheel, add them together, and then divide them by 2. And then depending on what that number is, you move it that amount of degrees, and then after that, your 0 on the wheel should be TDC. So yeah, we'll do the exhaust side and see if we can get it to 105. Okay, so just to explain a little bit more on the exhaust one, on the first one I got 53.5 plus 20 plus 180, so 53.5 plus 20 plus 180 equals 253.5. And then you divide that by 2, equals 126.75. 75, and then you take the closing number and subtract it from that. So minus 20, 126.75 minus 20. And right now the exhaust cam is sitting at 106.75. So that's already really close. I'm just gonna move it a little bit and see if we can get it to that 105. One adjustment, we got the exhaust cam to 104.75. We just had to move it over, basically move it over to the 1 degree mark right here. And that was it for that one. So this thing's all agreed. I'm gonna pull each one of these bolts out one at a time, put some Loctite on it, drive it in. 20 foot-pounds is the torque for or 18 foot-pounds is the torque for these. And then I'll mark each one of them. That way I know they're tight. Then these go to 40 foot-pounds, mark those as well. And this thing will be ready to get mounted in the car. And then we'll start some other stuff. So I know I really didn't go really big in depth into the cam degreeing. There's already a lot of videos out there on how to do it. Everybody does it differently. Everybody uses different tools. This is just the stuff I use. They do send you 2 gauges with this kit. I prefer to use just one, just so it's the same one on both sides and it's accurate. Another thing to mention too is when you do the cam degree on these engines, you do have to lock the vtec on the intake and the exhaust side, and you have to set the valve lash to 0 before you start degreeing the cams. So good thing to note there. And obviously once you would do all this stuff, I have to take all this back apart, unlock the vtec, and then put it all back to how it's supposed to be, put sealant on everything, and get it all wrapped up and put it back together how it's supposed to be. So still waiting on some suspension bolts. Everything's been shipping super slow because of the virus, so we ended up ordering all new suspension bolts for the car. So all these all those bolts will be new. Everything in the back will be new too. We did get the brake lines in right here. So we did get all the brake lines in here. The 2 coming from the master cylinder. One going over there to the driver's side. One coming over here to the passenger side. And we got holes cut in the floor for the cage. Both sides, in the back. And so the cage will be next. We'll be putting the dash back in and stuff with the cage. We cut the holes in the dash already for the cage. One Barbie going through there. Another Barbie going through there. So once we get that dash in, you know, with this cage, it's not going to come out anymore. We're going to have to cut it out if we ever want to take it out. So time to get this thing in the car. Put the trans on, we can run the shifter cables and all that stuff, and get both cam seals in. We took solenoid on, all the accessories that go on the side back on, and that's pretty much it. Probably end up doing some exhaust manifold studs. Cool, so I hit all those with red Loctite, including the cam gear bolts. Those go to 40 foot-pounds. Make sure that none of that stuff comes loose. And then I just mark wherever the two lines meet up on the inside of the cam gear and the outside of the cam gear. So if they ever do move, I'll know. Same with this side. And then I always put white lines on the center that are to set the timing. That way it's easier to see while we're timing it with the timing light. So yeah, this thing's ready to go in the car. Check back. All-wheel drive trans mount. Got the competition clutch twin disc on, trans on the motor, and the motor in the car. We got the slave cylinder on, and we have the S2000 clutch master cylinder with the block spacer and the clutch line. Mounted it to the subframe right there, and just ran it over to the slave. Still need to find a GSR water neck. Next I'm going to be doing the Speed Factory catch can, which goes in this location right here. Building the lines to go to the back of the block here and here. And then I can put the intake manifold on. This is the stuff we'll be using right here. Speed Factory catch can and overflow combo. And go in here with the lines. These are all the fittings and the hose. Just cut to length and assemble it with all the fittings. So yeah, let's get that done. Another thing too is we have to weld the bungs onto the valve cover here and here. This is not the valve cover we're going to be using. We actually have a color matched valve cover right here, and we don't have to weld anything actually. They already have dash 10s on there. Nice. So it's all color matched to the car. I know I haven't shown you guys this, but case on as well. This is just the stock one for now. We do have the Drag Cartel billet one that we're going to be doing, and we also got the measurement for the drive shaft. And we took the drive shaft parts to the drive shaft shop today to get the drive shaft made. So that will be probably back in a couple days, and we can actually bolt that on, and technically the car will be all-wheel drive. We also ordered a couple more parts for the shift cables to go through. While we were waiting on the manifold to come from Speed Factory, we actually bought it from Real Street, but Speed Factory is making the manifold for us. It's going to be a top mount. We're waiting on that to show up so we can do the up pipe, all the boost pipes, the intercooler, all that stuff, and then we'll get on the harness and stuff next after that, and hopefully get the car running soon. So yeah, let's get this valve lash done. Alright guys, so I'm going to give you a quick rundown on how to do a valve lash adjustment on a B-Series. This one we're going to be setting it to 7 thousandths on the intake side and 8 thousandths on the exhaust side. So when you start this, you'll start with number 1. Set the engine to TDC just like you would if you were putting the timing belt on the car. So these two marks line up. The outside marks line up with the top of the cylinder head, and if some of them say up, this one right here is the top part of the cam gear, so that would be facing up. Same thing with this one. So that's TDC. You would do number 1 first, and then you just go with the firing order. So you do 1, 3, 4, 2. So you start with number 1 at TDC. You go to next to number cylinder number 3 on the intake and the exhaust. Try again. So it fits now. It's a little loose though, so I'll go ahead and tighten it up a little bit. It's a little too tight, so I'll loosen it up a little bit. And now it goes in. It fits in there snug. Not super tight, but snug. That's pretty good on that one there. You can feel the drag when I pull it out. I'm going to loosen it up a little bit. And this one's 8 thousandths on the exhaust side. And it feels pretty good there. Let's go on to the next one. Loosen it up some more. Alright, so we got it to slide in now. So then what I like to do is I put my regular flathead in the center there and then spin the nut all the way down with my hand until it stops on both of them. That way when you're trying to get the other tool in it, it doesn't move on you. So once I do that, I just check it again, make sure it's good. So that one tightened up a little bit now. I can't get my tool in there. That one's good. So I'll go ahead and loosen this one up a little bit. Check it again. That's perfect right there. So I'm gonna get the tool, set it down on there carefully, and then put the screwdriver in line with the screw. Hold that and tighten the nut. With this side, same thing on the other one. Pepperoni. Damn.